Let's go. We are back on Dark Souls because today I am starting the journey to Dark Souls 2. And so I will be detailing my journey through each of the 5 bosses that I come across in the order that I face them. I know there's probably some order out there. You're supposed to do it this way to have the easiest time, blah, 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 blah. Nah, I just kind of run around, try to find the bosses and beat the shit out of them as fast as I can and as least amount of attempts as they take. Obviously, some of them will be hard, some of them will be easy, but it's all my opinion. And some of them I'm really gonna fucking hate. So if I hate your favorite one, you just gotta accept it, all right? I'm glad you found a great boss to fight, but like, man, some of them I don't fuck with for reasons you might love. But whatever, we're almost a minute into the video, so I just want to get it started. And so we're going to do 5 bosses every single video, and this first one is going to be the first boss I faced, the Dragon Rider. He started my journey. I immediately went to Hyde's Tower of the Flame to just start off the game, and he's the first boss there, so we went after him. And he's a decently good boss to start with because he doesn't really have anything that's going to break your fucking mind, all right? He just uses a big old spear that has a lot of range, but that can be good because he really teaches me how to get the dodge timing, how to learn this new kind of movement that Dark Souls 2 takes. Because in Dark Souls 1, movement is jank, all right? Just poise the fuck out of it. Just get rolls, but don't try to move into anything that's not just like positioning to their side or their back. In this game, you have much more freedom because you feel faster, and honestly, your roll just feels a lot juicier, especially because I played Dark Souls 1 kind of heavy at the beginning. But now, bam, I get the roll timing down, take him down in 7 or so attempts. I did not make the arena bigger to fight in, which I probably should have, but I had no idea that was a thing. But I really only fell off twice, one of them while getting hit, so really just my own problem there. I accidentally rolled the fuck off, which was kind of funny, but also like, god damn it! But genuinely, I think this isn't a bad boss to start with. It'd be weird if you fought like a fucking dragon on the first one and I accidentally went there. I would probably turn around, but instead, hey, it's just a dragon rider and we kind of beat the shit out of him. So yeah, I'm happy with the first fight. And so going to the second attempt, we get to the last giant. So I didn't go to No Man's Wharf because it was kind of rough there. The enemies are not exactly easy, like those big fucking werewolf dog monsters. I don't know what the fuck they are. They're just scary and they took way too many hits. So I fucked off there, kind of looked around. And then my friend who has watched me play, because he's a Dark Souls lord, he told me where to go to like get another easy fight in to keep learning the game. And that's the last giant. Probably the first boss you actually want to fight. He's really just kind of a pushover. Like, you don't need to learn how to dodge at that point. You don't really even need to learn anything but just positioning, like getting the fuck out of the way of his legs when he steps, blah, 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 blah. It took me 4 attempts. And yeah, it's just not a great fight. I think giant fights as a whole in this game are probably going to be stupid if there's another one because you can't see anything but his legs. It's really boring. I don't want to look up because then his legs might kick me or some bullshit. But if I'm just looking at his legs, he's going to swipe the shit out of me with his arm. So that fucked me up a couple times. I did almost beat this on my first try, but I got really fucking greedy and tried to get a few extra hits. And then bam, he fucking killed me. I was pretty pissed because then it took me 3 whole ass more attempts, but not a hard boss. If you ever do play or go to replay, I'd go here first because this guy's just kind of chill and just gives you, I don't know, time to get used to your weapon when you're just wailing on his big fucking dangly ass feet. Just be happy he doesn't have a 3rd leg to hit you with. That would make the boss fight much harder. Number 3 is the Flexile Sentry, and this guy's pretty cool actually. I really like the design of having like a Siamese twin but conjoined at the like waist. Pretty cool, and I like their differences in their attack patterns. One's using like the double hand clubs and one's the double hand sword. The only thing I would say that needs really improvement is one should be a heavy side and one a light, but they're kind of both light. The swords are more light, so I would switch the dual wielding clubs to just like a big club, just one huge one that he holds with 2 hands that's slower, because it's kind of lame that they're just kind of both the same thing but different patterns. It's really just whatever. But I do like the design, and I stay mostly on the club side because I find that way easier to dodge. He just does like the big overhand, get stuck, you just wail on him. But the swords will fuck you up. He gets a lot of range on those when he's just swinging them around. Fuck that shit. But yeah, this whole kind of area, the No Man's Wharf, was pretty cool. You move the boat in and go down and fight him down there. Not a hard fight. Took me 4 attempts, just like the last giant. Not even that hard to get to either, so I like that. But really, you just got to stick to the club side and you'll win. Really, the only times I would get fucked up is when the swords would just catch me with their like attack that gets extended when he pushes forward and swipes them. Can be rough and really catch you off guard and do a fuck ton of damage. So I guess it's really is a good starter boss because it's easy to beat but is very punishing. Flexile Sentry gets my seal of approval. And that takes us to the next boss, the Ruined Sentinels. And this is a multi-boss fight. It's actually 3 bosses, but Even though I'm a hater of multi-boss fights because I just find them more tedious than actually fighting a hard single boss, I actually don't hate this one because even though it takes 3 fucking bosses to come at you, you can get it down to a 2 boss fight if you just think a little. When I first fought it, I kind of fought the one up top where you come out of the mist for a little bit until I realized like, fuck, he's about to kill me, and I rolled off. Then I had to fight all 3 and I lost, all right? This came out to take me 8 attempts. It took me a little bit to get it down. They're just patterns and everything, but they're pretty easy to learn. You just have to learn how to actually go about this fight. And so yeah, I learned that you just want to fight the first one up top and none of the others will join in. So you beat him in this small area, bam, you're down to a 2 boss fight, and these guys are generally pretty weak. They attack pretty slow and they don't really have range. They're pretty lanky, so they can get you sometimes from range with swings. But the only move I ever had to watch out for was when they go into like fidget spinner Beyblade mode, just start spinning around like a Roomba around the room trying to fucking catch your ass. Fuck that shit. It can be really hard to dodge it because you don't really know how to position. I think the best fucking course of action is just to sprint. Get the fuck out of there, all right? You do not want to get caught by that shit. It'll fling you. It'll do a fuck ton of damage. And it definitely ruins your moral support because all their other moves are easy as fuck to dodge. Their overhand, like, are you really getting hit by that? Just move out of the way, hit them twice, and then hopefully the other one doesn't beam the fuck out of you with the fidget spinner move. And so for a multi-boss fight, I actually did enjoy this one. It took the most attempts out of the first 5 bosses, and I'm not mad about that. It never felt bullshit, except the first 3 before I realized I could just fight the one up top and be safe. I thought they came later, after like a certain amount of time, like 4 kings or something like that. But no, you can just take him down, jump down, fight the other 2. It's pretty simple. And their design's cool too, I guess. I mean, nothing really to write home about. Although, thinking about it, I'm not really sure what they are. I guess they're like fucking soldier knight robots or something. I don't know if there's like magic in them or maybe people are built like that in the Dark Souls world and like that castle area. I don't know. But I really couldn't imagine from looking at them that they have too much lore. So fuck it. Mid boss, I guess, but cool for a multi-boss. So we reached the final boss of the video, the Lost Sinner. And this boss is an interesting one that I kind of enjoy, but also kind of felt like it was very hard. But that doesn't exactly take away from it. So the thing with the Lost Sinner to me was that it seemed very simple. All she has is a sword, right? She doesn't really do much else, but it's the way that she uses the sword. This is the first boss I faced that really had movement to it. Usually you position on the boss and you do whatever you want. Sure, it'll try to make it so it's in the right way to hit you, and it'll make sure it's looking at you so every move typically hits you. But with the Lost Sinner, it positions more to dodge you than like any other boss I had faced up to this point. It jumps away from you to give it spacing to do other attacks to you. It actually moves around like it's, well, you. And that was very hard to adapt to because sometimes it would attack you, you try to attack it, it would dodge and then try to attack you, and you're just, missing your opportunities to get hits in, which makes it, a lot easier to actually chip them down. And so it fights a lot different than anything I faced, and I think that's cool. I think it's the first boss that really gave me more of a challenge for reasons that weren't kind of gimmicky or special. Like Ruined Sentinels were challenging because there was 3 of them and you have to figure out how to get it to 2, and then you just kind of learn their moves from there, but it takes a while to get that. This is just one boss with a pretty rough run up to where I just think about it the whole time, but still, it's kind of rough around the edges, but I enjoy it. I don't know if it was probably the easiest boss I could have fought at the time because it gives you a shit ton of souls. It gives you 45,000, which was so many at the time and really showed me that like Dark Souls 2 leveling system was different, even though I was told it was. But I think that's just the reward you can forget for beating a hard boss like this. It was designed to be hard with its movement, and even with the basic ass sword moves, it is pretty hard. And it leaves me hoping that more bosses like this exist, where they're not exactly hard because they're gimmicky, they have like 3 different people with them, or it's a multi-boss again, but they're hard because they're actually smart. They're not just going to sit down and eat it. They're going to think about you the same way you think about them. They're going to hunt you while you hunt them, and I think that'd be cool. It also adds like a human side to the boss. The Lost Sinner, I assume, was human at one point, and so that makes more sense because they actually have the thinking capabilities to do that. They're not like the giant where, a giant isn't like a human. They're huge, so they just stomp you with their feet. They're not like the Flexile Century, 2 monstrous people. It's an actual person that I guess fell to sin. That's the easiest way I can put the lore because I don't fucking know it and really don't care because that's just how I see it. So probably my favorite boss of this video. The 5 bosses, Lost Sinner comes out on top. Worst boss, probably the Lost Giant. The Giant boss is probably are going to be lame if there's another one. I think there is from what I've heard. And it's just kind of as whack to fight that shit. You want to look at its feet, but you also have to look up to look at his legs, and the camera can get kind of wonky, especially if you just like to lock onto it. You can't really do that because you have to see its arms before they come down and swat the fuck out of you. You know, like you're a 5-year-old and your dad comes home drunk and just starts swinging down there. You know, you gotta be flexible looking at both. He might kick you, he might punch you, you never know. But anyway, that's gonna do it for the bosses. I want to make a new section here where I kind of talk about like my thinking on the game itself from what I got from these 5 bosses and also running around the whole world. And so far, I think the game is fun. One of the things I really didn't like, and really my only complaint so far, was like the Flexile Sentry was a boss that I fought, you know, not too long ago in No Man's Wharf. And then I went and fought the Ruined Sentinel and then the Lost Sinner. But the Flexile Sentry is there in the Lost Sinner. So I fought him as a boss, and then like, I don't know, a couple hours later, I'm fighting him as a mini boss. That didn't really sit right with me. I don't really like that. I think it's too soon to turn over like that. It kind of feels like maybe some more lazy design like we saw with like the Demon Ruins in BDS1, but maybe it's not something that's going to happen a lot. A lot of these bosses probably won't have that kind of turnover if they even do. I think maybe the Ruined Sentinels might have a turnover where we see them, maybe not as 3, but just as pairs, you know, here and there. But I don't want it to be like a normal thing. I don't want to start seeing Dragon Riders anytime soon or the Lost Sinners. That'd just be kind of weird. But other than that, I enjoy the environment so far. Like No Man's Wharf was pretty cool with the little boat scene, although the place was just kind of dark and very poorly lit. But I did like how it was like a town setting. Like maybe at one point people lived here until it was overtaken by these fucking monsters. And then Heights Tower of Flame with the Dragon Rider. I think that's a very aesthetic place too. You got the sun coming in and it's just like a torn apart, I don't know, like royal area. You know, not as hype as Anor Londo, but because it's definitely been aged, but it could have been something in the past. Maybe the water has covered it or whatever. I don't know, but I'm kind of liking the game so far. The game feels, in my opinion, it feels like it handles better than Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1, when I first played, felt so dog shit, and it took a while to get used to it because it just felt so poorly controlled. And I don't even think it was like a PC thing. It just felt like, well, when you press this, you get so much lag on that, and it feels janky as fuck. It's hard to explain, but this game feels smooth. You feel quick, you feel precise, like you're much faster. And this shit, the boss runs are, in my opinion, so much easier because you can just run past them because you actually have speed to you. In Dark Souls 1, you were slow no matter what. It just was kind of made like that, not smooth and quick, but more heavy and I don't know, just kind of an old game feel. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Appreciate you all watching. Hope you're hyped for the Dark Souls 2 playthrough. And yeah, tune into the zombies content as well. I got Banana to do with me. That's kind of what the channel was supposed to be, me and Banana, but I'm kind of just doing my own thing too to fill in the gaps. But yeah, check that out. Appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.